Hieronymous seems like he's in a mood when he gets back that night, and I'm torn between asking my question and letting it go. Even still, Hieronymous can see me staring at him, and he knows something is up. "I've had a long day, Tori," he says with a sigh. "If you have something to say, please, out with it." "It's nothing," I reply with a shake of my head. "I had something that I wanted to talk to you about, but you're in a bit of a mood right now, so I shouldn't." I lie back on the bed as Hieronymous regards me warily. "Tori." "No, it's fine," I insist. "I don't want to ask you something if you're not in the mood to answer. Then you'll just get mad at me, and I don't want to start a fight." Hieronymus is silent as he seems to consider this. "Let me have a shower. When I come out, I will be in a more amicable mood. Is this an acceptable compromise?" "Take your time," I say as I busy myself with my assigned reading, and Hieronymus just sighs again as he heads into the bathroom and shuts the door behind him. He's not in there very long, but at least he seems a bit happier when he comes out. "Very well, then, what do you want to talk to me about?" Hieronymus asks as he slips into bed beside me. I curl into his chest, reclining my head against his shoulder. "I was just wondering about Iris Academy," I tell him. "I mean, I know that we have the practice dungeons, and then there are other dungeons besides that, but are there secret areas of the school that only upperclassmen can access? Or areas that only teachers can access?" "Why?" Hieronymus's voice is firm. "What are you planning?" "Me? Nothing," I tell him innocently. "Ellen saw Snake Girl walk into Wolf Hall today, but she walked into Wolf Hall, like through the wall. Daniel and I didn't see her." Hieronymus frowns as he considers this. "You know as well as I do that yes, there are secret areas of the school. No, I am not telling you where they are. As for what Miss Middleton saw, it was probably only a trick of the light. Believe me when I say that we wouldn't create a secret location where students come and go so frequently." "That makes sense," I admit softly. "But Ellen said she saw someone. She wouldn't just make something like that up. She seemed really perplexed about it too." "Perhaps Miss Middleton is simply trying to find something to occupy her time," Hieronymus offers. "You had mentioned that she had stopped going to class recently." This gets my attention as I roll over. "I mean, I know I told you that, but I didn't think that you cared enough to remember it. Did something else happen? Is she still being watched?" Hieronymus frowns as he looks me over. "Not that I'm aware of. What did you mean when you said I don't care what you have to say?" "I don't know," I reply with an idle shrug of my shoulders. "It's just that I didn't think you cared, that's all. I mean, I know you ask how things are with my friends, but it's like you don't honestly care, you know?" Hieronymus looks dumbfounded. "If I don't care, then why would I ask?" "To be polite," I reply automatically. I don't know. It's like when my dad would ask my mom about her book club. He would ask, and she would tell him, but it was obvious he was zoning out. He asked because he thought it would be nice to make her feel like she was being listened to, even if she really wasn't. Hieronymus pauses for a moment and appears deep in thought. "I can't believe this hasn't crossed my mind, Tori, but something just occurred to me." "Yes?" "The only model for marriage that you've seen is your parents. Is that correct?" Hieronymus asks, and I nod my head slowly. "None of your friends are in mature relationships, which means the only model you've had for affection and communication came from those who raised you." "I mean, I've seen people in relationships on TV and movies and stuff," I offer. "But yeah, my parents were never close to any other parents growing up, so I don't know what other couples are like, except for Virginia's parents, but I only really visited them one time." "What's your point?" "My point is that although your father merely pretended to care, I do actually care," Hieronymus informs me. If I did not care, I would not ask. I can't help but frown. This is a bad time to get me thinking about my parents, considering it's almost Christmas, I tell him. But I can see what you're trying to say. You don't want my parents' relationship to cloud ours. I hate to break it to you, but that's not really that big of an ask. My parents only stayed together because of me, otherwise they'd be divorced right now. I pause for a moment as I consider this. Maybe they are divorced right now. Hieronymous is quiet as he leaves me to my thoughts, but it's too loud inside my head right now. What about you? You didn't have a stable marriage model to follow either, you know. Perhaps not, Hieronymous says with a gentle smile, but being raised by a steady stream of changing foster families has given me a unique perspective on which relationship styles work and which clearly don't. That makes sense, I admit. I don't know. I don't really think any of my parents' relationship rubbed off on me, and I mean, you'll never meet them to know for sure, but maybe that's a good thing. This way I don't have to unlearn bad habits. I can just learn good ones. If there is anything I can say about you, is that you have shown remarkable maturity for someone your age, Hieronymous offers. Not just in terms of the situations that you've been through, but also in regards to our relationship. We have had more fights in these past few months than I care to dwell on, but you responded to them the best way you knew how, and I can't fault you for it. The one thing I will ask, though, is that you start thinking of us as a team. But The words came out of their own accord, and I can't help but sigh as my shoulders slump in defeat. I should have just agreed with him, but the words had come out so readily, so automatically, I can't take them back now. But I can't think of us as a team, I say softly. To say that we're a team means I can rely on you for anything, that I'm not afraid to say something and worry about how you might react. I don't want to make you angry or upset, or worse, I don't ever want you to be disappointed in me. If we were a team, I just feel like I would just be myself without worrying about how you would react. Tori, Hieronymus's voice is soft and sad, and it tugs at my heartstrings. I know I have done a terrible job of it this year, but you are young. You are learning and growing. You will make mistakes, and it's up to me to be patient with you when they happen and help guide you in the right direction. I know I have not done the best job of that, but I am trying to do better. But I should be the person who does that for you too, I remind him. Just because you're older than me doesn't mean that you need to look after me all the time. I want to be there for you too. Oh, you do, Hieronymus says as he closes his eyes and smiles. A real smile, and I can't help but look on in confusion. How so? In so many ways, Hieronymus replies. You're not in my head, and you're too involved in your own affairs to be watching me every minute, but there are times when I stop and think what you would do in a situation. I am noticing more. If I notice a student walking into class looking despondent, I always used to challenge them in class to make them realize the benefits of their instruction here. But now, since I've met you, I tend not to engage. I am still not going to invite their problems upon myself by asking, but perhaps coming to class is a reprieve from their own struggles, and though I may deem them immature and irrational, that doesn't change how it affects them. Wow, I say softly. That's really mature thinking, especially coming from Professor Grabiner. Hieronymus chuckles under his breath. It's because of you, Tori. I just want you to know that. If you're ever having doubts about our relationship, just know that I am incredibly thankful for all that you've brought into my life. You may not see it, and I may not show it as often as I should, but there's never a day that goes by that I'm not glad I met you. I just look at him and smile. What could I say to that? What could anyone say to that? Just kiss me already. And he does.